everybody. This is the second lecture regarding Project 3, and all I want to talk about in this short demonstration is how to work on this first composition to try to generate a focal point or where our eye lands and include depth or sense of going back into space as if you were in 3 dimensions. So remember, we only have 4 shapes to work with: a circle, a square, a line, and a triangle. So these are just really simple ideas that I'm going to throw out. The first has to do with how to create a focal point or a place where our eye lands through the change of color. So in this situation, you can see that a focal point is made by making shapes that are all the same color, but by changing one so our eye focuses or lands on that particular different color. The second has to do with changing the shape of a given series of shapes so that our eye lands because it's a different shape. And thirdly, we can determine a focal point. Let me get this squared away here. We can also determine a focal point by differentiating the size of the shape. So in this case, all of these shapes are the same. Let me start again. All of these are the same shape, but one is a different size. So our eye finds that to be of interest. Then we can go down here and we can determine a focal point because we've altered the texture on one of the shapes. And as you can see here, you can add detail to any given shape, and that will help differentiate it from the others. And lastly, you can use lines to help guide our eye in a particular direction that you'd like us to go so that we land on a particular shape that way. So that's part 1 of the first painting that you have to do. The second aspect has to do with how to create a sense of space or depth, as if something is going back or coming towards you in a 3-dimensional space, even though we're working on a flat surface. So these are all very obvious, unconscious things that we think about and that we take for everyday granted with our normal eyesight. But in this situation, it's determined by size. So that we know that when the same shape gets closer to us, it gets larger, as it is in this situation. So as you can see, it starts back here, and as it moves forward, it gets gradually larger and larger. I've also demonstrated that something can be cut off or bled off the page. And this is a way to indicate that there's movement continuing through a concept or a composition as well. But generally speaking, something that's larger is closer to us. Secondly, we can overlap the shapes, and that means putting one shape on top of another shape, as seen here. So here we have a circle that sits on top of 2 different kinds of lines. And because the circle is on top, we know that it is sitting in front of those other shapes. We can also change the color. And when things get closer to us, they get lighter in color. And as they get farther back in space, they get darker in color. So that's the first part of this particular demonstration. But I also wanted to show that as things get closer to you, they also have more definition or detail that we can see with the human eye. So in this particular case, I've added some detail to this particular square that helps us determine as things go farther back, we can see less of them. They get fuzzier and blurrier. As they get closer to us, they have greater detail. So that's all I wanted to show by putting this cross on it. Remember, you only have 3 colors to work with: white, light blue, and the primary blue, or red, pink, and white, or yellow, light yellow, and white.